So today I'm talking about the personal governance system. Now, I think just to start off, what is this? What am I talking about? Here on this free learning resource, I've outlined, in my eyes, what I view comes from the corporate world to how to actually become a CEO of your life. Now, the reason why I've come up with this is firstly, I work in corporate governance in the professional environment. Secondly, I was quite disappointed with my personal results and the way I'm going outside of the workplace in terms of not career progression, but my fitness, my other goals, my time management. I felt a little bit lost, well, very lost, and I didn't feel like I had it under control. So I spent some time thinking about what can I take from my experience analyzing companies and their governance systems, because if a company has a good governance system, usually you can tell if they're operating at what they should be operating at. So I took those lessons and I tried to distill that down to the individual level. So here you can see on the screen we have the personal governance system. Now the objective is to become the CEO of your own life. It's a reframing of how you operate. So if you think about it, any company, you have the CEO, right? They're responsible for the strategy, not the day-to-day operation, but overseeing the individuals who do the day-to-day work. And then usually on top of that, there's a board of directors who is then putting pressure on the CEO and keeping them accountable. So if I'm the CEO of my own life, I can't do that independently. I need some accountability outside of myself. Otherwise, what's been happening? I've been actually not doing the things that I said I was going to do because I'm not accountable to anyone outside of myself. So here we have the system. The objective, be the CEO of your own life. Now it starts with step one, and here we on the left-hand side, we have strategy. Now, like every other company that operates in the world, if you don't have a clear plan of where you're going, you're not going to get anywhere. So the strategy, it starts with a mission statement. You just put a high-level sentence of something you want to achieve that's aspirational. Mine is to be healthy, wealthy, happy, and successful, so I have the time to spend with those that I want to and care about. Second, you need to write clear annual goals or objectives. Now, this is, achieve 78 kilograms, make $1,000 a month from a business, something of that nature, something very specific, not get in shape, not I want to do something, but something very specific. Now, under each goal, you need initiatives or projects. These are activities that are going to help you reach your goal. So, for example, on losing weight, getting to 78 kilograms, I have kilometers I need to run every week. I have a diet adherence project, and I also have a gym attendance statistic that I'm tracking. And then you have the key performance indicator, and this is pretty straightforward. If I want to achieve 78 kilograms, 78 kilograms is that key performance indicator. And really the objective of that is to have a number that you literally cannot hide from. If I get on the scale and I'm not trending towards 78 kilograms, I know that I know that instantly. There's no hiding. And then lastly, I have write the system outline, which essentially talks about the other 2 points on here. So you would write, I want to continue, I promise to monitor on a daily basis against the initiatives, and my accountability partner will be XYZ, and I commit to meeting them on a certain cadence. So once you have the strategy, we then go into monitoring. And this is really a key part of the system as a whole, because if you're not measuring what you're doing, you can't monitor. You need to be monitoring and measuring. So this, for example, with my goal of achieving 78 kilograms, I'll have daily data points on kilometers run, diet adherence, just simple yes, no. Did I drink alcohol? Yes, no. And did I go to the gym? Yes, no. Very simple. I can do that in 2 seconds. I have a Google Sheet. But to take that daily data and actually make it usable, I put it into a monthly collation, and then you'll see in one column what I've actually achieved for the month on average, and then what my target is for the month on average. And then this goes into a dashboard, which I make it look pretty. I put indicators to see if I'm on track, off track, or I'm at risk of not being on track. And essentially this pretty dashboard feeds into the third point here, accountability. But I'll put this into a report so the person that I'm accountable to can easily tell what I'm up to. And this brings us to 3, accountability, arguably the most important part. Look, I've set strategies, I've tried to monitor, and then the end result was I fall off at some point. My motivation dies. But you don't rise to the level of your motivation, you fall to the level of your systems. And this is what I do in the corporate world. Look, if you're an employee at a company, do I want to update a risk register? No, it's boring. I don't want to do it. But you do it because you have to, because there's a system of governance that if you don't do your work, you're going to get in trouble. You're accountable to somebody. You're either not going to get a promotion or you're actually going to get reprimanded. You need something similar in your own personal life is what I am trying to put in my own life. So you have an accountability part. This is someone external to yourself. It could be multiple people or one person. Personally, I have one individual. I've talked to this individual and I'm going to meet with them on a monthly basis. And I'm going to provide an agenda to the meeting and I'm going to provide a report. This report contains the KPIs. It also includes some explanations of what happened. And if I'm off track, it's going to say what I'm going to do next month to make sure that I'm not continuing to be off track. I've also agreed for on a quarterly basis, I'm going to take a more strategic look at my goals and the initiatives that are going to help me achieve those goals and see if anything needs to change. Maybe I need to adjust targets up or down depending on my experience for those 3 months. Now there's public sharing as well, which is what I'm doing here. Hopefully at the end of this month, I'll have some positive progress to share. And then it also includes escalation. So this is when, which is eventually going to happen. Hopefully it doesn't happen at the first month, but I fall off. It's quite common to fall off. At least with everything that I've tried, there's going to be weeks, there's going to be months that don't work out well. But how do you get back on so that the whole year isn't wasted? And that I've had an escalation procedure and I need my accountability partner to question me on that. So this is the system. It's strategy, monitoring, and accountability to someone external to yourself. And hopefully with this system, you can take what you perceive your life to be in the future and actually execute it and not continue to go on the path you're currently on. And not just rely on motivational videos or listen to self-help gurus, but actually put a system in place that gets you from point A to point B. And if you're interested, I have all this stuff for free online. Links in the description. I don't know if it works yet, so maybe it's not even worth looking at. Anyways, who cares?